the base of the music is the rhythm, and there's many ways to construct a song, but today I'm going to start with the drums. Now, I started playing drums when I was 3 years old. I had my first Tony the Tiger drum set, and I marched in my first parade when I was 5 with the drill team, took my first drum lesson at 4. But since we're in our virtual studio today, I won't be playing the real drum kit. I'm really capable. Anyway, let's get right to it. Now, this groove that I was taught by Bernard Purdie, he played with Aretha Franklin, James Brown, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles. He said arguably he's the most recorded drummer of all time. So we're going to start with the kick and the rim shot, and then we're going to move on. Okay? I added a little pickup so I could catch the one. Don't even worry about that. Okay, now I'm going to put in the rim shot. Rim shot is hitting the side rim of the drum. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to add the percussion. We know that congas, bongos, timbales, shakers, cowbells, claves, different types. So I'm going to put in some congas first. I don't need the metronome anymore. I got my groove. Turn the metronome off. Okay, now I'm going to add another conga in. I'm going to overdub it in. Okay, now I'm going to put the cowbell in, you know, like the Saturday Night Live skit. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to put the clave in. That's the instrument. It's like two pieces of wood. You hit them together. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is put in the triangle. It's like a triangle made out of metal. You take a thing and you beat it. Yeah, like Michael Jackson. Beat it. Alright, next, put some cymbals in there. You know, I like to crash on the one. That comes from funk. You know, you're always on one. This music has a lot of upbeats. Upbeats creates tension. Up, up, you know, you hear that in like house music, techno, rave, you know. Tss, 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 you know, it creates this tension. You know, old school disco, you know. Alright, next thing is the piano. You always hear a lot of piano in black Cuban music, at least later on. I guess the original genre, they didn't have access to pianos, but now you hear it all the time. So we're going to put the piano in, and I forget what you call it, a montuno. I don't speak Spanish, but there's a certain name for the riff, you know what I mean? Anyway, here we go. Alright, next we're going to add ye old bass. You know, this is bass guitar. They have acoustic basses sometimes they use that you see in mariachi music. Back in the day there was the stand-up bass like you see in an orchestra. I started playing bass when I was a teenager. I wanted to be Bootsy Collins because Bootsy's my favorite. And I prefer funk, you know, over all the rest of the genres. So, you know, like the style here is based on fifths. You're like, what is a fifth? Well, it's just the fifth note of the scale. If you're in a major scale, we're in the key of D this time around. So the fifth note of the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, sol, sol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you see a lot of that. But this is in a minor key. So minor key drops the third, sixth, and seventh a half step. How's that? So instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because that third is dropped a half step. Alright, next is the old Spanish guitar. The Spanish style is flamenco, and some of that was borrowed and added to black Cuban music. You hear it in artists like Santana, Sade, and other ones that I'm sure you've never heard of, but the style has been adopted by a lot of different artists over the years, and you hear elements of it. But of course, the rhythms come from the motherland, so that's probably the first music, undoubtedly the first music. And when the black people were brought over to what is now called Cuba, they weren't deprived of the drums like in the United States. The savages took the drums from black people, but in Cuba they were able to keep their drums. That's why you see a lot of the music has a lot of percussion, and of course black people in the United States, they ended up doing the same thing as well, just later on. In fact, all popular music, every genre of popular music ever created was created by black people from the United States. You know, ragtime, jazz, big band, swing, bebop, R&B, rock and roll, disco, soul, funk, rap. On the Spanish guitar, they did borrow from the old school flamenco style. I'm going to play along. I'm going to have to hook the microphone up to record this because this is an acoustic instrument. I can't plug it in. I've got electric guitars over here, but normally in this style of music you have the so-called Spanish guitars. The country's name is España, though. Of course, a lot of times then you have the solos. You know, I could have done a bass solo, but you don't really see too many bass solos in this type of music. But you do see a lot of guitar solos, trumpet, you know, percussion solos maybe. All right, let's just try. In this style, you got the horny horns, and you know, I can't have the horn players come in today, so I'm going to digitally Fred Wesley. You're like, who's Fred Wesley? Okay, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm here, so I might as well think. I just came up with a hook I can put on this. So what I'm going to do is, well, it's going to go something like this. Viva la, viva la, viva la revolution. Revolution. Okay, so I'm going to stop the tape, and then I'm going to get the microphone, I'm gonna record it. Alright, so I did background vocals. What I did was I did 10 tracks. So 5 different notes, 5-part harmony, and I doubled both. And then after I doubled them, then I spread them, and then that makes it sound like there's a gang of Oaklands, doing the thing. All right, let's see what we got. This is the first note.
Viva la, viva la, viva la revoluciones, revolution.
All right, here's the second note.
Viva la, viva la, viva la revoluciones, revolution.
Uno, dos, tres. Okay, yeah, note, tre. I can't speak Spanish.
Viva la, viva la, viva la revoluciones, revolution.
Note, cuatro. See, I'm doing better.
Viva la, viva la, viva la revoluciones, revolution.
Okay, here's the fifth note.
Viva la, viva la, viva la revoluciones, revolution. Viva la, viva la, viva la revoluciones, revolution.
Due to time constraints, I can only do one section of the song. So you would have to imagine that I'll have changes in the song, I'll have breakdowns, I'll have an arrangement, I'll have an intro, I'll have a bridge, I'll have a vamp in different parts. But I'll just show you this one. This is going to be the hook of the song. The hook is the chorus, the part that everybody normally remembers. The one advantage I had in my career was that I could do any style of music. It was like, okay, let me hear the style, okay, yeah. A lot of people who do music, they have their signature style or sound, but I always wanted to learn every genre of music and how to play it, to record it, to compose with it. So that was to my advantage over the years. And I'd like to thank Professor Alexander, and I'd like to thank all of you. I love you very much. And I had such a wonderful time this quarter, and I wish you the best in your endeavors and your life. And I am 100% positive you will succeed. As Katie would say, huge.
Viva la, viva la, viva la revolution.